everybody. What if I were to tell you that a simple pack of cards can actually help you predict your date of marriage, the date that you're starting a business, the date when your business will actually take flight? Can you believe me? A pack of cards. Yes, a pack of cards called a tarot cards. Today with us, we have our new guest, Nikita Dudani, a psychologist by profession, but a tarot card reader and a healer by profession. So, welcome to our show, Nikita.
Thank you.
So, Nikita, tell us how you started on this journey of tarot reading. I know it is a very fascinating subject. It is labeled as occult, basically. And I also know that predictions by some tarot readers, as your reputation, I think you've been in practice since 2015.
Yes, you have.
So that's almost like 8, 9 years that you'll be practicing. And I have heard that your predictions, especially where the date of marriage and the date of, a startup taking flight is almost very accurate to the T. So that is the reputation you have, and that is why you are here with us today. So we want to understand how you started out on this journey. We also know that you're a healer, but we are more interested in knowing how you became a tarot reader.
Okay. So I have been intuitive since childhood, and it is something I feel that my parents have supported me throughout my, childhood journey, my teenagers. So, like the fact that, something is going to happen, but you're not sure, but it's an inner calling. So that has been my guiding point throughout my journey, throughout my childhood. But I never had a word for it. Like, today you see that, okay, I'm intuitive, or this is consciousness, subconsciousness, you're in your awareness. So I think it started out in my early childhood, but when I was in ninth standard, that's the fact when I got fascinated to the tarot cards. So basically, there used to be this program called Teen Devia that used to come.
I remember that
Yes.
one, yes.
Yes. So one was astrologer, one was numerologist, and the other was tarot card reader. So I saw the tarot cards there on the TV channel for the first time. And that time I also did not know that it was called tarot cards.
I also developed my interest in tarot, the Rider Waite cards, from that
Correct.
serial itself. In fact, I own my own pack as well.
Yes, yes. So then in that moment, I did not know that what they are called and how it is done, but I was fascinated, and I decided at some point in my life I will learn it, and that is how the journey I think of tarot card reader started early, but it was till late my teenage, like around 19-20 years old, when I started to learn it. And that's how the journey started. So the journey to find a guru, the journey to understand that these are called tarot cards and how would you use them, that started in my late teens.
Okay. So basically, you can say your love story with tarot cards started when you were pretty young.
Yes,
All right.
it's my
You
personal.
mentioned a guru. So that was something that caught my attention. I did not know that tarot reading or Reiki or healing of any kind also required a guru. Why a guru?
So guru is someone who guides you, and of course, like in our Indian culture, also guru has given a lot of importance. जैसे गुरुकुल हमारे पुराने जमाने में it was गुरुकुल. Like you go to the guru's place, you learn, and they tell you everything that you need to know about your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health. So in occult sciences and things in modalities like tarot and Reiki, guru teaches you the nitty-gritty of it, like from the point of learning yourself, like how would you find yourself through tarot card reading, what are the meanings, how do you interpret it, how do you take up your intuition, how do you give accurate predictions to the clients. That is what guru helps you. So I feel that guru brings a lot of peace, and it shows you the direction that you need in life. So when I was 13 years old, my mom was diagnosed with kidney failure. So that sudden, understanding that she has kidney failure, and, the rush to the hospitals, and I was 13 years old. So it was very traumatic for us, like as a family of four, for my father, my mother, and me as well. And there were a lot of duties, like, that I had to do, being at the school, then coming home, helping her with the household works. So it was a very traumatic and very stressful teenage for me. So, and unfortunately, I lost her when I was 19 years old.
I'm sorry to hear that.
So those 6 years, made me question a lot of things because coming from a family of good people, like my father is a very patient man, my mom was very kind-hearted but headstrong women that I know. My brother was also like, as innocent, because he's just 3.5 years elder to me. So he was also, he did not know how to handle that. And I, of course, I was the youngest. So in that moment, when that particular thing happened, when we lost her, it made me question a lot of things. And I was like, I just completed my second year of BA. I was in college and it happened during the summer break. Like, she passed away in May 2010. So when that happened, and when I returned to third year of BA, I was like, yeah, I want to just quit and not do anything because something inside of me broke and the world was not making any sense. And that is the time when my this first love tarot cards came back into my life. And then I came to know that one of my friend's mother, that is my first guru, late Mrs. Alka Dalal, she is into tarot and Reiki. So I reached out to her, and those burning questions that I had in my mind, that why this happened to her and why I'm the one who doesn't have a mother when my classmates and everyone have mother. So those questions were tearing me down. And that is the time, like, she was the guiding light. She taught me that what my intuition was about, what are the chakras, and how I'm already connected to universe since my birth, and what are tarot cards reading, and how you can use them not just for the client but for your own inner work, for your own solutions in times of confusion. It became my guiding tool. So that's how the journey started. And I think Guru, she was very important person because she taught me the nitty gritties not only of just learning tarot but also about finding yourself through tarot. So what my emotions were, what my anger was, what my hurt was at that point, I think I came to know about them through her. So Guru is not someone who only teaches you the art, but Guru is someone who teaches you the art of living life.
Very well put. I think that is why we celebrate Guru Purnima in India,
Yeah.
because we understand the value of a proper guide, a proper teacher. So that is very beautifully put and a very heart-rending story. Really feel for you. But coming out of it, you are giving the world something really beautiful. Like you said, the magic of tarot that you learn from your guru, the secrets, the revelations. That is what I think most of our subscribers and listeners are waiting to hear from you. So I know for a fact that tarot has a variety of cards, Rider Waite and the Western look and the Osho, I think. So which philosophy do you follow?
So I practice both Osho Zen and Rider Waite. Osho Zen tarot cards are the Indian tarot cards and they are different from the Rider Waite. So that's the first cards, actually Osho Zen tarot cards, that I learned from my guru, Mrs. Alka Dalal. And that is the deck that is more of a emotional and spiritual connection. Like, it asks you to look,
The Osho one.
the Osho one, it asks you to look within yourself. It's more of spiritual cards, and when you look at it, you feel calm, you feel soothing. And Rider Waite are those are the original tarot cards, like the OG, we can call it. So they were, published in 1900s, back then in 1900. And those are, mix of numbers, colors, symbols, and what was going around in that century. So you will find a very heavy use of symbolism, imagery for that. And all the tarot cards that are, coming out right now, and you can see they have changed the colors and the symbols and the picture of the tarot card, but the basis is Rider Waite. And Rider Waite is, of course, like a Western thing. So it follows that tradition, those stories, and those occult things that were popular back in 1900s. So Rider Waite is the one that I use, and also the Osho Zen. So both the cards I mix and match. But right now, if I would be saying for my marriage predictions and other predictions to be on point, I choose Rider Waite.
You said that you're intuitive. So do you think it is a combination of your intuitiveness and the tarot card which makes you so accurate with your predictions? Or do you think that the tarot cards by themselves are also very good predictors?
It is a mix of both because tarot cards itself tells you a lot. Like, they hold a mystery. So let's say the Rider Waite tarot deck, which is popular and it's used, like, everyone knows now because of the popularity that it has. So if you take that, it is the combination, like I said, about the numbers, the symbols, the imagery that are there. Um, so in that sense, when we use that, tarot cards, they also give us a lot of meaning, and then of course it's the intuition of the reader that it tries to, because the same card can be used for multiple purposes. Like it could be used for wedding date, it could be used for finances, it could be used for career. But what is exactly the prediction is then the reader's
The intuition and the prediction that you make from that. So basically, I think even the interpretation is related to your intuition.
yes.
So the tarot is not just an entity by itself. The tarot reader and the tarot, that combination is what can actually give you a good or bad prediction. That is what you're trying to say.
Correct.
I think I completely agree with you, because I also have gone through a lot of tarot readers, and I have found that different tarot readers give different kind of answers,
Correct.
and they are good in some. That if you want an answer for your, you want an answer for whether you're going to do well or bad, there is a particular tarot reader I would go to. And if I want like a prediction of a date, I would come to you. So now let us come to that point, which I think all our listeners are literally waiting for. When you are supposed to predict a date, like somebody wants to know when he's getting married, somebody wants to know when the child is going to be born, or if they're going to have children. Somebody wants to know when they're going to have a new startup or when they're going to get a new job. And when they come to you, they're coming with this expectation that you'll give them an exact date. What do you want from them? What is your requirement?
Okay. So the first of all, what I want from the clients is their entire details, like their name, their date of birth, for me to connect to their energies. Because date of birth that we have, like every date of birth carries its own unique energy. So does your name. So I need those details to tap into your energy and your subconscious mind. And when it comes to date, I do prediction of almost every date except pregnancy date. Like conceiving or something, because that is something that we don't do in the sense of ethical way, because there are some tarot card readers who do that, but I personally don't do that, because I feel that the energy is not just limited to one person, it's the couples both. And sometimes one of the person is ready and the other person is not, so there could be a lot of conflict of energies. So as the binding goes by, like whenever a client comes up, I tell them that I will read anything except pregnancy and death related questions. Like you can't ask me that when I'm going to
To
die.
die. Okay. That is quite a few people. I mean, that is very negative, but there are a few bunch of people who want to know when they're going to die
Yeah.
rather than when my baby is going to be born. So you prefer to go in for the positive thing. That's wonderful, actually. And people need to draw their lines as to how much you're going to give and how much not.
Yes.
But there are, I think, a few occult practitioners who don't mind giving the dark philosophy. But you are not one of them. You are the positive philosophy. So that is very good for my listeners to hear. So, how exactly close are you to the date, according to you?
Yeah. So in my recent experiences of the last 5 years, if I say, all the predictions of marriages that I've done are around 8 to 10, and they have come true. Like my friends, for my friends and my clients, they have called me and told them that whatever I predicted has come true. So like into like 2 years back, 2 years back, there was this close friend of mine, and he wanted to do a prediction, and I was doing some live session on my Instagram, and so he asked me that question, and I did not know that the person he likes is also seeing that Instagram, like she was also there. So they both asked about the marriage, and you won't believe they got the same card. They both got the same card for their prediction. And later, when the live was over, and then they told me that this is what is going on. And in that year,
So, they got the same dates also on the same years.
yes.
So, how close are you to the date actually? Are you able to predict the exact date? Do you give a day? Do you give a month? Do you give a year? How close are you to the real date?
Okay, so I give the prediction in time frame, so that includes months and years. Because for the exact date, then there are a lot of astrological aspects also that you have to cater to. So that I don't do. Like in the sense, of course, that's a different ball game. Like you can go to an astrologer, but I do for months and years. Like this is the month, in 3 months or 4 months this will happen, or this year, next year. So like that. And of course, if the couple is already engaged, then sometimes it can also go into weeks. But other than that, if there is no engagement or a prospect or that is there already in their life, it goes into months and years.
Okay, so and up till now, most of your predictions for months and years have been very accurate.
Yes. Like, they have called me, in fact, in the sense of, I remember one of my, a person, my client, I was reading for her and she asked me that, okay, should I marry this person? Like, she gave me the initial, not the full name. Like, for example, X or Y, in that sense.
Okay.
The initial, through the initials. So I told her that you'll be marrying this initial, and she got married to that initial.
Okay, so you were able to even actually give the idea as to if she was confused between two men,
Yeah.
which one to get married to. Okay, that is beautiful. I didn't know the tarot could be that specific. What about startups? If somebody is starting up a business, are you able to even give them an idea as to when they should start the business, or whether they should start or not start? Or if it is just starting up, when it will start to be successful and they'll be able to monetize it? Are you able to predict that as well?
Yes. So all these three questions, yes. Like I said, then of course, in that sense, I'll also take their business details. So we will also have to account, like, let's say a startup. If it is already in process, like it's been 1 year or 6 months, then the prediction will be around, like, when they will get more money, more success, more business, in that sense. But someone is having a startup idea and they have not yet registered or started any process, like they are just discussing that I have this startup idea and I want to start it. So when is the best time? Like summer or winter or any kind of months they would have in mind. So we also do that reading as well, like a comparative reading that will, let's say, for example, summer 2025 is good for you or winter 2025 is good for your startup. So it can be done in that time frame as well and seasons as well.
Can tarot have one card which is the best card?
Yes.
And can it have a card which is the worst? So, which would be the worst and the best card according to you?
Okay.
And if you could show our viewers that.
Sure, I'll show you that the best and the worst card. But as a tarot card reader, I don't find any card particularly worst. But I'll tell you why they are considered worst as well. So from this thing, I'm seeing the Wheel of Fortune. This card that is there. I would say this is one of the positive card in the deck because this signifies that new and positive changes are coming in your life, and that will definitely happen. So and it would be very sudden. So if you're not the least you are expecting it, the least that's the time when these changes will come in your life. And the next one is, I think, that one, the World card over there, because this is also card of completion. And like you said, that 2025 is numerologically it's a 9 year. The Mars card, it's the Mars planet that is there. So it's also the completion. Also, is around that idea only, that whatever you have started will is getting completed. You are getting a success and fame and name for that. So it's also a very beautiful card that something you started is going to be in full bloom. So personally, I'd like these two cards and I find them, very much positive. The worst or the scariest card are the Death and the Devil. Also because of what the pictures it represents. Like, because when you see the Death card and the Devil, it has a larger black background over there. So when we see these cards, people get scared. That they would say, ki,
Why have you got a death card? Are we going to die?
someone is
By the death, someone is going to be harmful to us. Devil card.
correct,
Okay.
correct. So, but that card actually is not signifies real death. It signifies symbolism that is something in your life will come to an end and you'll have to start something new. It could be a pattern. It could be a lifestyle change that you'll be looking for. It could be toxic relationship coming to an end. It could be your own realizations, becoming a better person, something that you have learned, and so on so forth, depending on person to person. So that's why this is also in a subtle way very important card, because it signifies rebirth, like you are going to start something of it, like uh, something new.
Well, I understand. So that is why you said that no cards are the worst cards, though we may interpret them as bad. But for you, actually, the question is what will tell you whether that card is really bad for us. What are the different ways you do it? I've heard something about general spreads and three spreads. So, what kind of spreads do you do generally?
So, talking about spreads, I generally do general spread. General spread is like it's an open floor and it's an open ended spread. So, you can ask any question. So, one point you're asking for business, next you are asking for relationship, the third question would be for personal fitness, like that. in other spreads, that is career spread or celtic spread that are popular, or relationship spread, you are just focusing on one situation, so you get minded by that, which is also okay. I'm not saying that prediction will not come. It's upon reader to reader. I feel more comfortable with general spread. And the second spread that I really go to is three card spread, which is of past, present, and future, because it really gives you insight about what your past was, how is your present energy, with way it is going to be, and what comes in your future.
What does 2025 hold in general for all Indians and all people that we are in touch with?
That's better. Okay. So, Four of Wands has come in general reading for all the viewers that are seeing this. And just next intro for them. Okay. Nine of Cups. So, this Nine of Cups represent emotional fulfillment because you have worked hard for it. So, this is also a 9 year, matlab 9 number 2025. So, it means that viewers who are into something, that they have started something and they're waiting for their results to come. It could be exam results, it could be the venture results, it could be anything goal that they have come, they would be completing it very successfully. So, they will also be getting name, fame, success, and also a lot of stability in the terms of market. So socially, this is a very good card that
Market in the sense Sensex. I'm sure all my viewers are very much interested in knowing that is the Sensex going to go up or not.
we will check that. But market in general, about
Okay, the general market
gen-
of buying and
buying
selling and
so
services.
and also the market, the industry that you are in, you will get a lot of success over there, stability over there, because
So
of
everybody in general, 2025 is a very positive year. So
exactly.
you are the second guest here which has told us that. So I think my listeners are going to be very, very positive about 2025. So that I think is wonderful. And I think your tarot card reading has been, as like people have been commenting about how accurate you are with predictions. And I already wish that whatever predictions you have made are that accurate and it comes true. But only time will tell us. And what I can say is thank you very, very much, Nikita, for being with us today and actually revealing more about tarot cards to us and, making those skeptics who are wondering whether those predictions can really be true start wondering that no, maybe we should opt for them. So, welcome again and thank you for being with us today.
Thank you.
Is there anything that before you leave you would like to tell our listeners about tarot?
So I would just say that tarot cards are your guidance card, and as you let them, guide you, they will show you not the predictions but also solutions that you need to do to achieve your goals and desires. So just trust them, surrender to them, and they will guide you forever.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Nikita, for being with us today.